Why wasn't slut-shaming an issue during the free love movement of the 1960s?
I feel like because there wasn't a lot that you can do in the 1960s. I mean, like, maybe wear a short skirt. I feel like now, like, things have changed a lot and you can show a lot and get away with it. So slut shaming has become more normal, but I mean, it's not okay. Like, I feel like everything has become normalized. Like, you should just be able to be yourself and wear whatever you want.
If today's society is seen as more degenerate, why is there more slut-shaming today than there was back then?
That's a great question because I feel like society has made like sluts who they are. I guess, like, I don't know, like they say that they like call people sluts, but then they want people to wear less clothes and be more provocative, whatever. I don't know. I feel
See, this chick just contradicted herself because maybe about 30 seconds prior to that, she said that people should just be able to do what they want and wear whatever they want, right? But then she turns around and says, oh, well, the women are getting slut shamed, but then you want them to wear less clothes. No one's telling you to do that. Y'all are doing that to yourselves, and you're perpetuating that image on yourselves, and then you're turning around and slut shaming each other for it. But then you want to say that your body count doesn't matter, but then you want society to respect you regardless of how you dress and how you behave. See how convoluted that is?
I like social media. I feel like really social media is like everybody has their own opinion, and on social media on our phones we can communicate it. Back then people had their opinions, but they weren't able to like really butt into other people's lives as much as we can nowadays.
We were just laid back, man. I mean, because we came out of the 50s where everything was pretty rigid, and then we just kind of said, screw the man. We're just going to lay back, man, and we're not going to do anything we don't want to do. If we don't want to do it, we're not going to do it. And there's plenty of women out there. There's plenty of cool guys out there, you know, and we had really cool parties, and and it wasn't about money. Money meant nothing. It meant nothing, man.
If we lived in a matriarchy and a society run by women, would women make laws to protect men?
Nope.
I would hope so.
No, they wouldn't.
If so, what would those laws be?
That's a good one. I don't know. I've never thought about that. I can't think of something on the spot.
Well, why aren't feminists fighting for those laws right now?
That would be kind of the opposite of feminism, wouldn't it?
Would that prove that feminism is against men?
No, I think feminism is fighting for women's rights and for women's equality. But it's not against men. It's just trying to fight for equality.
Well, if feminism is about equality, why isn't there equal representation of both men and women's issues?
Maybe there should be masculinism. I don't know.
Wouldn't that prove that it's not about equality then?
Well, but if men have in the past had more power, more rights, all of those things, then feminism did have to fight to get that equality. And I think as of now, that's still an issue where men are getting paid more and certain things like that. So,
here we go with this.
Since men are the ones expected to fight other men, why don't men need protection from men more than women need protection from men?
Because society thinks men are strong and independent and should be able to handle themselves at all times.
I feel like a lot of men jump into the situation to help. I feel like it's not really like they're forced to. Like,
all right, we're back with another septum piercing sighting. Now, I noticed the guy before, he had a septum piercing too, but I haven't really noticed any weird and suspicious behaviors and mindsets that come from guys that have septum piercings as opposed to women that have them. So what do I always say about the septum piercings? Red flag, something wrong with them. But we give her the benefit of the doubt. Let's not jump to any conclusions prematurely. Let's see what she has to say if she speaks, and then we'll determine if it's rooted in some nonsense or not.
I don't expect somebody to come and help me, but it often is a man who comes and helps me if that would be to happen, because they're stronger. Like they realize that they can take it on better than I can.
Yeah.
Do you believe in the God, man, woman, child hierarchy? And if so, should everyone be held to that standard when we're trying to promote gender equality?
Yes, but gender equality means male and female.
Men that lead the family and kept the family together and focused on God and stuff like that. I didn't feel like that was a bad idea. I feel like now that we don't have that, this is the society that we have. I mean, a lot of fatherless people, a lot of people just not knowing the way. I feel like men are it's a beautiful thing to be masculine, but in this society it's not cool anymore.
So why are all men being blamed for the patriarchal structure that religion is trying to push?
I think that's an unfair blame on men, because I think the patriarchal society caused by or created by religion goes way deeper than just men.
We shouldn't be blamed by that. That is a hypocritical stance by the religious, sects, due to the fact that they have an agenda to push too, because they're trying to control the masses through the things that they teach. So even if to a certain extent that is true as far as it can help the family environment in a way, it shouldn't be the precipice for what we want to stand on, due to the fact that it's coming from organizations and institutions that don't have our best interests at heart.
Trying to utilize traditional foundations against us, a lot of people, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people grow up with a religious background, so it's easy to kind of use that source as a shaming point, I would say.
Doesn't that give them a license to condemn masculinity if it doesn't fit their definition?
100%, absolutely.
Why don't we shame gays for not being masculine enough, the same way we shame straight men for not being masculine enough?
I would say because it's an assumption that gay men are more feminine, which in reality is not true. Sexuality and masculinity or femininity are completely unrelated, but we feel like it's okay to assume that gay men are naturally more feminine, when that's not the case, but we feel comfortable making those assumptions.
I think that nobody should be shamed in who they are. I don't think that straight men who act more feminine need to be shamed, and I don't think that gay men who act very feminine or very masculine need to be shamed either.
If a woman gives a man sex, why is she any more entitled to a relationship than the man's entitled to her submission?
I don't think that she is.
I mean, opening the legs is a form of submission.
Yep.
So it's up to you to, carry it on. Once she open your legs, so she already submitting and giving herself to you.
If sex is his ticket to commitment and leadership is her ticket to submission, how do we balance courtship before we are willing to each give away a piece of our power?
Communication.
I don't think that sex is necessarily what's going to make a man commit to answer half of that question. I know that wasn't the full answer to your question, but I don't think that sex is going to make a man commit, truthfully. I think maybe you would agree. It takes probably a lot more than that. Actually, I think that women should probably, because sex to me is powerful, it's access into your body, into your temple. If that's what is initially intriguing the man, I think that women should hold off and kind of force that man to get to know her. And by nature, by waiting, it might allow that relationship to flourish. And potentially neither of them thought it was going to be a relationship, but it could be if the woman holds out, if that makes sense.
Okay, so if that's really what you believe, then why is there such a strong push for women to have whole phases where they just sleep around and have a hot girl summer, instead of following that advice and getting a more fruitful and meaningful relationship? Oh, let me answer that. Well, the reason they're not going to do that is because it directly contradicts the feminist narrative that so many of these women have been indoctrinated with. Go out there and try to live and move like a man. See what I'm saying?
Because in that dynamic, she does have the power. I think she has the power. If she's the one being pursued, then she kind of holds the power there.
Because in time, she will allow you to lead, and she will give up her dominance, but it takes time. And then when a man, of course, if you give up sex, you hope that your connection is better than anyone else's in the world to her.
And finally, why is the man typically the first one expected to give away their power?
Well, because I don't believe a woman can really have a real great orgasm unless it's with a man.
Should a woman be surprised if she's harshly judged for wearing a slutty outfit to meet her boyfriend's mom?
No.
Why?
because that's just unrespectful to the mom.
Moms probably don't like that. You gotta dress, you gotta look good.
I think outfits are a form of expression 100%, and you should wear what you feel confident and comfortable in, but I think it's definitely a time and place thing. If you're going to meet a parent, maybe don't wear that mini skirt.
If you had a daughter, would you let her leave the house wearing whatever she wants?
No. Depending on
It really depends on the age. Consider like whatever she wants really depends. If we're assuming that whatever she wants is really little clothing or something that's really revealing, probably not. Mainly because I know, unfortunately, how people react in society and how like she'll be looked at, how she'll be talked to. If she's going out in public, will she be catcalled? Could she potentially be touched? Those kinds of things. And out of a protective nature, I wouldn't want my daughter being subjected to those things that I think less protective parents allow their kids to be subjected to.
Why is a father considered to be a good dad if he encourages his daughter to dress modestly, but a boyfriend is controlling if he encourages his girlfriend to do the same?
because of a daughter should listen to her father, and the boyfriend should, he found her how he found her. So either way it goes, he needs to, flaunt that.
No.
You can't date a bad bitch if you can't handle a bad bitch.
Here we go.
When it seems like a father is doing it, it seems protective, but when a boyfriend is doing it, it seems jealous and controlling because they have different feelings towards that daughter/girlfriend. Like a father won't have like romantic or sexual feelings, and so it's just like, oh, he's trying to protect his daughter, he's doing the best for her, whereas a boyfriend knows like if he finds her attractive, other guys are going to find her attractive, and he's trying to control that. He doesn't want other guys to think that about her. So I think that's why the tone is different.
Well, how do you protect something that you don't control?
I don't know. You're the one that
There we go. Yes, sir.
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I honestly don't think there's like too much of it. Like realistically, there's not much of a difference in the way that they're controlling or protecting the girl. I think it's just that's how people view it. It's, the dad isn't trying to have the daughter in any way, so he's just doing the nice thing, whereas I think boyfriends will instantly just come across as controlling. And so without really having like the analytical questions like you just asked, people just kind of make those snap judgments and are like, oh, the boyfriend's controlling, you should be able to do whatever you want, but your dad is protecting you.
How can a man be responsible for a woman's safety if he has no say over the risks that she takes?
He can't be. If a woman's taking a risk,
I know, I can just shove it in my face. Sorry, I don't know what the question was.
Okay, we'll move on. If a man needs to make a woman feel safe in order to be in her feminine, how is a man supposed to be a dominant masculine leader when he's constantly threatened by the fear of divorce?
Wow, what an answer! Because I just went through. Just went through a divorce, so that's pretty tough. Good
really?
Question. It's tough. It's tough. That's a tough one.
Well, how can you have true masculinity without authority?
You can't.
Shit. Only time you got masculinity is in the bedroom. That's it. And at the bank, when you're at the grocery store, when you're paying for the food.
Well, you shouldn't be feeling about that. If you handling what you need to handle, there is no fear. For one, if you a man and you an alpha and you a leader, you ain't fearing nothing but God.
Sometimes women that are independent, we're tired of being masculine. So therefore, when
there it
we're
is.
soft and feminine, we're not gonna bitch about anything.
There it
we're
is.
Gonna be happy. So you won't be divorced.
How can you have true masculinity without authority?
Who don't have authority? Now, if you don't have authority, that's your choice of giving up your own authority, man. So, man, everyone have choices. So you can't complain if you willingly give up your authority and then complain about what you just did.
Wasn't authority taken away from men through the family court system?
To a degree, yeah.
No. Because at the end of the day, the court system got nothing to do with you handling your business, which the woman gonna seize, and automatically it's gonna be like a woman won't take you to court if you handling your business. That's just period. Feel me? It's just period.
Okay, sir. If that's true, then why do you have so many high-profile men and celebrity guys and guys with mass amounts of wealth that are being taken to the cleaners by these women? Those guys were handling their business too. And they're not even safe. Like, look at what happened to Tom Brady. Look at what happened to Tom Brady. Dude's at the top at the pinnacle of the NFL, arguably one of the best athletes of all time, and then his chick left him. So I mean, that argument doesn't even work because you had a guy that was handling this business, and look at what happened to him.
When men were in charge, didn't they still make laws to protect women?
Yes.
State by state.
Yes, they
If
did.
we lived in a matriarchy, would women make laws to protect men?
Of course we would, because we're wives, we're women, we take care.
He just asked her, if we're in a matriarchy, will women make laws to protect men? And this chick said, yes, we would, because we're wives. You don't want to be wives now. And under the current patriarchal system, you guys benefit from the laws that put the man down. You take the kids, you take the house, you take the child support, you take the alimony, you take half the assets. So you mean to tell me that if you flipped it around, that you would put some laws and a structure in place to protect us? Because if that was really true, then why aren't the feminists gathering together and rallying for equality to protect men from getting hurt by the legal system? Why aren't y'all doing that now? Y'all got all the rights and privileges in the world, but yet you still want to take from us. Why is that?
So that's something that we do as well. So yes, we definitely would.
I would think so. I know that they would probably look out for themselves first, though.
Exactly.
If so, what would those laws be?
That's a great question. I've never really considered that because I already feel that men are protected.
Men make.
Astound is doing things bigger this season. Lock in bigger savings with Astound Internet for only $20 a month for 2 years. Shop online deals now.
Men make laws and rules based on what's best for them and their families and what they feel is going to keep them best in positions where they need to be. Women think more emotionally in the sense of, what can I do for this man? What can I do for me? What's going to protect me? What's going to be best for my children? And I think that's also why you don't see a lot of women in power too, is because there's a lot of men that just make laws to keep them in power and a lot of women that make laws that are sustainable and long term.
What is the difference between today's hookup culture and the free
Damn,
love
you're fun
movement
as
of the
hell.
1960s?
Oh. Basically, all guys want now is coochie, and nobody wants that like real romance. Nothing.
Yes, sir.
It's sad. That's the whole point. It's sad.
I feel like the free love movement in the 60s, it was more about love and loving everyone. And now, hookup culture, it's more about lust. And basically just, what can you get? And judging. And I don't know, I feel like freedom of love was more beautiful in the 60s. And now it's about what you can get and lust.
In the 1960s, I'll tell you what, I was at Haight-Ashbury, the Summer of Love, 1967.
Hey, yo, what the
before
fuck?
I got shipped overseas. And it was the coolest place. Everybody was cool. Everybody was laid back. Everybody was loving. I mean, the women were awesome. They didn't care who you were. If you just wanted to sit and talk, they would. The guys would do the same thing. If you didn't have anything, they'd give you something. And today's culture, everybody's hooking up. They're looking for love, but they're not finding it. We had it. Everybody loved everybody, and it was very, very, very cool. And that was the best summer of my life, So if we can go, we're Generation X. That means we don't give a shit. But but in 1967 at Haight-Ashbury, I slept in the park that night with a whole bunch of people, and everybody got stoned except me because I don't do that. But and we had a wonderful, wonderful time, and just talking about every little thing. We weren't trying to fix the world. We weren't trying to hook up with anybody. And if you saw somebody you liked, you say, "Hey, baby, come on over here," and she just walk right over there.
So how did we go from that movement to today, when women need to be compensated for their time and attention? In other words, we went from free love to pay to play, transactional.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Because social media said that's what they should have. So they grow up with a sense of entitlement, and they want, it's like, yeah, I'll talk to you, I'll, you know, but you're going to buy me dinner, and you're going to do this, you're going to do that.
Because men think that they rule the world and they can have it all while making women slave under them. So I need to be compensated for everything that I do.
Stop the cap. How do we go from love and friendship to game, seduction, and manipulation?
Because that's what men deserve.
Women, because women I feel like are very entitled these days. I feel like their standards are way too fucking high, for sure.
They turn into money mongers, and now it's all about the money. You know, they don't care about the people anymore. They just want money.
Pay her. Pay for that.
Nope.
Would OnlyFans be so successful if it wasn't fulfilling a need for men?
That is such a good question.
Ah.
Probably not. But I also think this is part of the reason that fan sites are successful is that there's a personal aspect to it where you get to connect with person. I think that men are ultimately deprived of emotional connection, and OnlyFans is a great way to talk to someone. I hear people's deepest, darkest secrets, you know, about their sexuality, the things that they hold the most shame over, and I don't know. There's a need for it for many reasons.
So do you believe that men are more starved for sex or starved for intimacy?
They are ultimately starved for intimacy. It's very sad.
Intimacy, absolutely intimacy. I think that they actually seek intimacy through sex most often, even if they don't see it that way. So ultimately, I think what they're after is intimacy and not sex.
Men will never admit to being starved for intimacy, but that's what I believe is happening for them in the sexual realm and in the sexual trance. It's hard to talk about emotions, but it's easy to feel loved and cared for when you're having sex.
That's
so
true.
that's how you satisfy it without having to admit to needing a little intimacy and compassion in your world.
Hey, he ain't lying.
32% of men are not having sex right now. What are your thoughts on the rise of lonely, sexless men?
Lonely, sexless men. Well, the rise of them, it's a reality. There really is, dare I say, incel culture. Folks are really nervous about sharing themselves, and men specifically, in talking about what they crave outside of just, say, the physicality of sex. This goes back to vulnerability. So I think that the more we make it such a terrifying exchange, the less we're inclined to do it, and that's where we're at.
Everything is online now. We are constantly in our phones and our own spaces.
Yeah.
We're constantly getting hits of dopamine. Where why would I seek something else when I can get something very quick, you know, and immediate? So, yeah.
When we say young men are killing themselves at 3 times the rate as young women, we use terms like accountability, or say things, well, if they just opened up more about their emotions, or they need to get their act together. And that is, we've decided when it comes to men, compassion is a zero-sum game. And that if you feel bad for men, it immediately kind of outs you as someone who might be anti-women or who's gone red pill.
That's true.
Do you believe it's cruel to put men down for being lonely?
Yes. You know, yes and no, depending on their situation.
What?
I would say, you know, men, if they're lonely, you know, everyone has someone out there, but yeah, it's cruel. You know, you can be lonely at different stages of your life. It depends, you know, if you're going through things or not, but
I absolutely think it's cruel to put men down for being lonely, because some guys are just very headstrong. They focus on their work, their business, and they just focus on getting ahead in life.
Okay.
Some men are focused on women. Some men are focused on money.
Okay.
It's just, you have to find that man and what draws him, what attracts him, what is his goals. Maybe he's lonely for this. Maybe he's lonely for this reason. Maybe he's been heartbroken. Maybe there's been some things in his life. You never judge a book by its cover.
There's always
I don't
something
think
different.
incels or simps are a threat to other people. They more just want somebody to connect to, somebody to bond with, somebody to have some type of relationship with.
Are lonely men more likely to commit violence or commit suicide?
I think lonely men are more likely to commit suicide, just because I know a lot of men have good hearts, and instead of taking their anger or their sadness out on other people, they rather take themselves out of the world, which is very bad.
for me, I would say suicide, just because with men, there's the high numbers in suicide, so.
Sadly, from experience, more lonely men are more so to commit violence than they are suicide, because yes, you're lonely. You can always pay for companionship. You can always ask for companionship. It may not be what you want, but somebody can still be there. As opposed to the violent part, you can just take it at any chance.
Why is it always the tradcons or these so-called high-value men who represent the men's movement?
Why are they the figureheads, you saying, of the men's movement?
In other words, why is the average man never given a seat at the table when they are the ones who are most affected by all of this?
Well, we need that to be the case, but I also think we have to get people to listen, and the way to do that is by having the Andrew Tates, the Fresh and Fits, to be that main thing. If I were Fresh and Fit, I'd bring more average men on their show.
I feel like the working class is very underlooked, and if you're on top, you're getting all the publicity rather than the working class, the people working for us.
A lot of people that are just going for clicks and trying to create content for clicks, they're hacks. I'm going to be dead honest with you. And it's damaging the discourse and making these problems that much harder to solve.
Don't both shame the majority of men and exploit them for their own personal gain.
Absolutely. When you focus on the top tier men, that you're either making the average man angry or you're trying to make that average man buy into your idea of how to become a high-level man. It's hurting everybody. And again, like you see with a lot of women's media, it creates an unattainable standard, an unrealistic standard that only ends up making everyone miserable. It doesn't benefit anybody.
Okay, sir. So if what you're saying is true and what they're doing is creating a quote-unquote unattainable standard, then why are there so many examples of people who achieve high levels of worth and success through their hard work and their diligence? Why is it that there's so many examples of people that exhibit the same types of personality traits and the same type of work ethic and the same types of values and the same types of habits to get to where they are today? If what you're saying is true, then we wouldn't have a numerous amount of examples to reflect on. So with all due respect, sir, stop the cap. That was an L, man.
Doesn't benefit anybody.
Do you believe that fathers keep sons out of jail and daughters off the pole?
Oh yes, most certainly. They do play a strong role in the male life, and for the daughter, yes, because your first love is your father for a female.
Let's be real, most girls who are on the pole are due to daddy issues.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, I have a brother who is in jail, and my father passed away once again, so my family went through a lot of heartache, but I can only imagine that if my father was around, my brother didn't have boundaries, and men are there to place boundaries with other men, or else kids just kind of run wild and they do things, and especially men, they become like these untamed animals, right? They become these kind of uncivilized monkeys. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be crass about that, but men teach boundaries. And when it comes to a woman, the only reason why I did not get on OnlyFans and the only reason why I was not a stripper was because I have 4 brothers who would have murdered me.
Brothers.
That was the route that I took. I think that there's
W
a
Brothers.
amount of shame when men are telling you, keep your clothes on, have some self-respect. But for me, if I didn't have that and I lost my dad at such a young age, then you're constantly seeking that male validation. You're constantly seeking that love from any man who will give it to you, because you feel like there's this like gaping size hole of fatherly figure missing from your heart. So a lot of these OnlyFans models, as much as I do have compassion for them, because I understand where they're coming from, but I also know the cause of why they're doing what they're doing. And if you look at any type of sex work, typically you will find the absence of a father figure or the absence of a male role model.